Hello, readers. I had just watched this particular tag that I have decided to do yesterday, and like I said, I decided to do it today, my own version. Okay, this I decide the tag I'm doing is books I'll probably never read. The original tag creator was Little Spider 9. Okay, so here goes the tag. Question number one: a book that is hyped that you won't start or read. I am not like a fan of contemporary. I mean, I'm not against it, and like this tag is titled, I probably won't read it, but there's a small chance I will. Like, I'm a little bit interested in Fangirl and interested in Geekarella because they're about, like people such as myself who are kind of geeky and introverty and them dealing with life situations. So I can relate to that. So that might be the one of those are kind of exceptions that I might consider, but I won't necessarily go to the bookstore to like search out books like that. My first instinct is to get like fantasy or like historical fiction. So any hype book that is contemporary, I probably won't read or start. Okay. A series you won't read or finish. Rick Riordan's books. I will not read his books. I mean, I read The Red Pyramid, but I just wasn't interested. And again, never say never. Maybe I will one day, but it's just I'm not interested in going through the trouble of reading them. I mean, some of them I think are at the library, so maybe I would borrow them. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I would like them. But, I mean, the one Rick Riordan book I read, I just was, it was kind of cool, but and maybe it's partly the writing style because I'm not, although I have read some middle grade books, but that I did enjoy, like the Ascendance trilogy and The School for Good and Evil. But I don't know, those to me anyway, those words seem different, But I mean, I've only read one Rick Riordan book, so who knows? Maybe I will like it, but it's not one that I have an urge that's one that I probably won't read. A series that I probably won't, or I should say, an author I probably won't read. Okay, next question. A classic you won't read. Okay, this will sound blasphemous because I am a fantasy reader. I consider myself a fantasy reader, and I hope people don't criticize me or hate on me for this. But Lord of the Rings. I have all three. Actually, I have all four books because I have The Hobbit. I have like a box set of the four books, and The Hobbit is the only one I finished because the way it was written for children, so the reading is a little more simple and not as dry. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love those books and they think they're so beautiful and they're so poetic and stuff. And every time I've attempted to read them, the few times I've attempted to read The Fellowship, I've gotten bored. I'm sorry. I'm sorry this sounds insulting, and you think, how dare I consider myself a fantasy reader when I don't even read Lord of the Rings, which I think is a little unfair and judgmental for you to, make people feel bad because they don't want to read Lord of the Rings. Like, I've tried, and maybe one day I'll try again, and maybe I'll surprise myself and actually be able to read it, but I just can't. I mean, I've seen the movies, I have all the movies, I love all the movies. I'm sorry, the movies to me are more accessible. And there are other fantasy authors like George R. R. Martin that I think are 10 times more accessible, even if they're the same length. I'm sorry, and, like I said, I think it's a little unfair when you judge people if they can't read, like, if they don't put in the effort to read Lord of the Rings. I did put in the effort. I have put in the effort, and I don't think I should have to put it like 10 times until I finally can read it. So, but I'm sorry, that's classic I probably won't read. I mean, never say never. I might one day bring myself to read it. Maybe when I'm old and gray, I might even read it. Of course, that's when your eyesight starts to go bad, which I think is the worst thing, but as a reader. But, I mean, it might happen. So, it might be the worst time to read Lord of the Rings, but who knows, maybe I will read it. So, but just don't judge me because I don't want to read the Precious Lord of the Rings books. You know, I mean. Okay. Any genre, next question. Any genres you won't read? Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of contemporary. I mean, I don't hate it, and I probably haven't read enough of it, but from the plots that I hear that are in contemporary novels, they don't interest me. But I am more inclined to read, I would probably be more inclined to read contemporary than this other one, which is erotica. I will never go, I've attempted erotica once when a trilogy by Anne Rice, the Sleeping Beauty trilogy, I attempted that, and I did not like. I got to book 2, and I was trying to continue, and I just couldn't do it. It was basically Sleeping Beauty was, the prince that kisses her and wakes her up. He turns out to be him and his mother, the queen, kidnap other royals, or the royal princesses and princes, and turn them into sex slaves, essentially. And that didn't sit well with me. I mean, I have no problem with sex in books. I'm not a prude, and I'm, not someone who's not comfortable with it, but I don't want to read a book that's all about it and makes, kinky sex look like, where the whole book is all about kinky sex and, makes sex slavery, seem like really hot. I mean, I'm not comfortable with it. I won't read it. Have nothing against sex. Like, I love Sarah J. Maas's, books. Her books have sex scenes in it. I mean, of course, they're probably compared to, something like what Anne Rice writes. Her sex scenes are not that graphic anyway. But, I mean, I've read Anne Rice books, I've read, like I said, the Sleeping Beauty trilogy. I read the first 2 books in that trilogy. And I've read, her Witching Hour series, which I did not finish. I got a good amount through. I only had, this much left. But I couldn't finish that book. That's not because of the sex, but because I spoiled myself and went to the end of the book, and I did not like how it turned out. Granted, it was a trilogy, so who knows? It probably would have been happy by the last book. The good guys would have won, blah, 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 but maybe not, I don't know. But and the same thing with, I read one of her Vampire Chronicles, Interview with the Vampire. I read that one years ago. So I don't have a problem with sex. I just won't read erotica, where it's all about the sex, a sexual relationship and everything, that's a genre I won't read. I won't go searching for it, I have nothing against sex in other books, if it's part of the book. Or, even if, one of the conflicts in the story is a character gets raped, I have nothing against that either. I mean, I'm not saying it's okay, obviously. Don't think I'm saying that. But I'm not going to be all like, how dare you have a rape scene in a book, either. So, because, unfortunately it happens, and it is really horrible thing. And it's disgusting. But basically, I'm saying I won't read erotica. But I have no problem with sex in books. I just won't read erotica. And now I'm going to shut up and go to the next question. Okay, the last one. A book on your shelf you probably won't read. I feel really bad, but it's the only answer I could come up with because I'm inclined to read all the books except for Lord of the Rings, but I already used Lord of the Rings as an answer for the classics question. But I feel really horrible for saying this. A book called The Tolls of Death, which I just got from the used bookstore in the town we now live in. I just got when during one of the first months I got here. It was it's a medieval mystery. And, at first, when I first read the title, I thought it said Trolls of Death. So I thought, oh, maybe Trolls is a metaphor, or it has some fantasy elements. But it turns out it didn't. It actually is Tolls of Death. And, it's interesting and everything. It's a murder mystery. There's, taxes are being placed on the people in this village. It's medieval. I like historical fiction. With medieval, it's kind of hard. It's kind of a 50-50 chance if I'll like it. And I was a little, when I started to read, because when I started getting into the whole idea of creating TBRs and stuff, put that on my TBR to read it, and unfortunately, of course, the TBR thing kind of fell through because I'm a mood. I think I am a mood reader in a way, like, but it's well, in a mood reader in a sense when I'm excited about a new book I got or a series I've been waiting for. Like, I try to savor it and wait to read it, not read it as soon as I get it. But sometimes I have this urge. There's other books I want to read over most of my books that I have, so I end up getting to that one first. And this one just, it didn't get my attention, it didn't excite me. And maybe it's just a slow beginning. The first few chapters were kind of short, so that helped. But I couldn't get into it. But maybe I will. I don't want to give it back to the place where I got it, because that's what I've been doing. I've been donating all the books that I'm like, oh, I can get rid of these. I've been trying to, I buy so many books, I've been trying to get rid of some of my other books. So that I wouldn't have so many, because if I don't, my mom will give me a hard time about that. Once we moved here, the used bookstore in our town, we can donate books to them. So I've been donating all my books that I'm like, I like them, but I don't need to keep them. It's not the end of the world if I give them away. Like the Castor Chronicles I got rid of. I enjoyed that book series, but it's not one that's I'm like, oh my god, this is the best series ever. I can't get rid of it. It's not like how I feel about like Sarah J. Maas's books, for instance. But because this particular book came from that store, I feel like if I did get rid of it, I couldn't give it back to them. I would feel weird about that. So, because, I spent the money and, not that the price is, the most expensive book there is $5. But still, I still feel a little bad for giving it back to them. So, if I did get rid of it, I would probably give it to, like, one of my friends or, And with some of my friends, I don't know if they would be interested in it. One of my friends, my friend Therese, might be interested because I know that she's trying to expand her reading. She only reads Ellen Hopkins, and so she's trying. I think I remember us talking about she wanted to try to read other books. So I could, if I did decide that I wasn't going to read it, then I could always give it to her. But again, this tag is it says probably in the title, so I probably won't read it, but there's a small chance I might. Because I feel bad if I don't. So, that was the books I'll probably never read tag. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you for listening to me ramble.